Hey kids, good evening. I am back with a Checkmate patterns tool, and here we'll just continue learning 50 different checkmate patterns. So let's see this one. We have two bishops on the chessboard. Bishops are very, very powerful. Pay attention again to black king. It is in the corner. Black king doesn't have space to move here. You cannot go to g8 because the bishop is on f7. So try to find a checkmate in one move. Okay, I'm sure you found this move, right? Now, look, the two bishops are so powerful and they trap the king in the corner. King gets checkmated very often in the corner. So this one is important to know. Let's see more of those. So what do we have here? First, we have a rook on the 7th rank. We already talked about this in our first lesson about the checkmating patterns. We have a very important bishop on d5, right? The king cannot move to g8. So try to find a checkmate here in one move. Okay, if you found this checkmate, bishop e5, I hope you can see the power of those two bishops. Look at that, it's really amazing, right? Look, this would be a checkmate even without the rook on e7, right? Those two bishops will checkmate the king in the corner. Very powerful pieces. Two bishops together are very powerful. Okay, let's go to the next one. Right now, if you know a little bit about the bishops, then I hope you can find a checkmate in two moves here. It is black to move, so try to find a mate. Okay, let's calculate together without moving the chess pieces. Look, first what I do is I find all the pieces that can help me for the attack. 2, 3 pieces, right? 2 bishops and the queen. I'm looking around the king, you know, the queen, I cannot do much here. If this rook would not be on d1, then queen f1 would be a checkmate. But that's why I say pay attention to all your chess pieces, even this bishop on b7. So look, if we take the pawn on f3 and give our queen, it would be a check. King cannot move. The bishop has to take on f3, and then your bishop from b7 captures on f3, and that would be a checkmate. So let's see that. We sacrifice our queen, and then we take with a bishop and checkmate. Beautiful checkmate. Okay, that's about the bishops. Just remember, two bishops are very, very powerful. When they work together, they can checkmate the king. Let's go to Boden's checkmate. This mate happens when the king castles to the queen side. It doesn't happen on the king side, right? So let's see this again. We have two bishops, power of two bishops, and we have a checkmate in one move, right? Checkmate, right? King cannot escape. So let's see if you can do this checkmate now. Okay, there are of course more pieces on the chessboard. Try to find a checkmate in two moves. It is black to move. And pay attention to all your attacking pieces. Let's calculate together. Look, this bishop is great. The king is on queen side, right? Opened. Troubles for a king here. Now we have a queen, and don't forget the bishop on f8. So let's calculate this move. Queen takes the pawn. King cannot move. The only move is pawn takes the queen, and then this bishop goes all the way to a3, checkmate. Let's see this on the chessboard. We take, and then bishop goes to a3, checkmate. You will see this checkmate happens from both sides, white and black. Let's see this one. What do you see here? Always analyze the pieces that can attack the king. Again, we are recognizing the king castle to the queen side. We know the Boden checkmate can happen. We have a bishop on f4, right? Controlling the king on this diagonal. We also have a bishop on d3, right? The last move that black played was queen h5. He wanted to trade the queens, right? But if you know the Boden checkmate, you would not trade the queens here. I hope you found the checkmate in two moves. So first move, queen takes the pawn on c6. Pawn takes, and then bishop goes to a6, checkmate. Let's see this together. We take, and then bishop goes to a6, checkmate. Now, the next one is just one position, and basically what you really have to remember is that two bishops, queen and the bishop, are powerful on the diagonals, and they can trap the king. So in this case, we have a checkmate in one move by moving the bishop to d6, and you see, even without the help of the white king, we can checkmate the black king, because the bishop and the queen are very powerful on the diagonals. Look, black king cannot escape, checkmate. Now, you don't have to remember the name of this checkmate, just remember that the bishop and the queen are working very nicely together on open diagonals. Let's go to next Arabian mate. Now, here we need two pieces, a rook and a knight. Can you find the checkmate in one move? I'm sure you can, right? Just don't play this move, right? Rook f8, because king can escape to g7, but rook h7 is the checkmate. Pay attention. We had this knight before in checkmating pattern 1 lecture, but the knight was on e6, and I told you when the knight crosses the border, and this is the border between white and the black side, when the knight jumps into opponent's side, it is very dangerous for the king. Now this knight is on a 6th rank, and it can help for a checkmate. We also talked about the rook on 7th rank, right? Two rooks on 7th rank, even more dangerous. But one rook on 7th rank is dangerous enough to checkmate the king here, right? So we have knight supporting the rook, and this is called in chess Arabian mate. Let's go to the next one. Now it's your turn, try. We need to find checkmate in 3 moves. We have, again, don't forget, all the pieces that can help us to attack. We have a rook, 2 rooks here, knight, and we also have a pawn, a very important pawn. So try to calculate. Can you see any move that can lead into a checkmate here? Okay, let's calculate together. Correct move is knight to f6 check. Pawn cannot capture the knight because there is a pin. Rook is attacking here, there is a pin. So the only move that black can play is king to h8. Then this rook on h1 captures the pawn on h6. Check. Pawn takes the rook, and the rook on g1 goes all the way to g8. Checkmate, because the knight on f6 supports the rook. Let's move the pieces now. Knight goes to f6. Check. Now look, we take the pawn, and if black plays knight h7, blocks the check, then we just take and checkmate. So pawn has to, okay, that's what happened, right? And we take checkmate. Now let's go back and see if the pawn takes on h6, then this rook goes to g8, checkmate. Right, that's what would happen. Let's go to the next one. Okay, here we have more chess pieces. Now, whenever you attack the king, pay attention to all your chess pieces. So first, of course, I'm looking at the queen. That's the most powerful piece. Then I'm looking at this knight, and you already know why. Because this knight crossed to the black side of the board. I know it can help me. I see there's an attack here on f7, and the two pieces, the queen and the knight, are working together. Now, I also see this rook on h3 that can help me. Knight is in a great position. You know, I'm sure I could use that knight also for attack. The only piece that I cannot use right now is rook on a1. Right? This piece is not participating in attack. We also have to see how many pieces are defending the black king. Right? We figure out that here we have 4 white pieces attacking, but there's this rook protecting the pawn on f7. Bishop, look, bishop is on f6. If this bishop captures the knight on e5, then the attack would probably stop. So, and also the bishop can capture the knight on e4. So we have to act quickly. Find a checkmate in 3 moves and write down on the piece of paper. Okay, let's see this one together. We're going to calculate together. Correct move is queen takes the pawn on f7. The only move is rook takes f7. But now we have knight g6, check, because there is no pawn on f7, check. King cannot escape because the knight, so king has to go to g8. Now we have a knight on g6 supporting the rook. Rook goes all the way down to h8, checkmate. And king cannot escape because there is a black rook here. So let's see this together. We take, and then we have to play this move, knight g6. Rook h8 is not going to work. So we play knight g6, and then rook to h8. Checkmate. Let's go to the next one. Now, this corner mate also happens very often in the chess games. But what really happens in the chess games is the king gets checkmated in the corner, right? We saw this mother mate and other mates as well, right? Arabian mate. So let's see here if you can find a checkmate in one move. Right, knight f7, only check, right? We have to play this move. Checkmate. Now look, king is in the corner, cannot move because there is a rook here on G line. Right, so let's see the next one. Now, what do we have here? Look, we are recognizing a pattern. We have this rook, right? So we know that king cannot escape. We also have a knight, but right now knight cannot move to f2, right? Because the rook takes that knight. So if you recognize the pattern, you already know what move to play. I hope you found queen f1 move. You are removing that rook from the defense, and then we are going to play knight f2, checkmate. King trapped in the corner. Okay, let's go to the next one, Morphy's mate. I hope all of you know that Paul Morphy was one of the best chess players, unofficially probably the first world champion in chess. He lived in New Orleans, here in the United States, and we study many games by Paul Morphy because his games are the best for kids. Okay, let's see this. Rook on g1, and we are recognizing a pattern. Now in this case we don't have a knight to checkmate the king in the corner, but we have the bishop, right? Checkmate. So you see the checkmate in the corner can happen with a bishop or a knight. It's actually the same pattern. Let's see this one. Again, king is open. We have a rook and the bishop attacking, right? So try to find a checkmate in two moves. Great, I hope you found this move, rook g4. King has to move to h8, and then we take with a check, right? Now, it is still not, I'm sorry, yeah, it's a checkmate. So look, king cannot move to g8 because you have a rook on g4. So checkmate. Fine. Let's see the next one. What do we have here? Look, whenever I look at the chess pieces and the attack on the king, I pay attention to all my pieces, and it is very easy to forget this bishop on a1 because it is in the corner. So this is the piece we need to use for attack, and rook on g3 we need to use for attack. Now I'm sure you can see this move, rook g7 check, but we need to calculate everything. There is a checkmate here in 6 moves, right? So we need to calculate all those moves. So let's see, rook takes on g7 and king goes to h8, and stop here. Do not make mistake, because it's easy to make a mistake here. Try to find a move for white. Okay, let's do it together. Rook takes on g7, king goes to h8. So now, first we are taking the pawn on f7 with a check. So bishop is now discovered and the king is in check. King comes back to g8. Now we are going to repeat everything. Rook g7 check again. King goes to h8, and now we can move the rook. We can move the rook to g6 or g5, g4, g3, anywhere on the g file. Let's move the rook to g5. So what can happen? First, queen can block, queen d4, we take bishop d4 check, and then rook can block to f6, and we take bishop f6, and we have a checkmate. So hopefully you can follow me. Let's see. Rook takes g7. Now we have to take the pawn, because if you play immediately this move, or let's say rook g6, then the pawn can move to f6 and block the check, and then you cannot win the game anymore. You actually would lose this game because you are queen down. So we have to take discover check. Pay attention, bishop is attacking the king, so the only move is king comes back to g8. Now we repeat everything. Rook g7 again, check. Now there's no pawn to block, so we can play any of those moves, right? Rook g6, rook g5, rook g4. Let's play here, and When queen blocks, of course, we have to take with the bishop, right? Check. Rook blocks and we take with a bishop. Checkmate. This was a nice calculation. Okay, let's see Pillsbury mate. Pillsbury was a great chess player. What do we have here? The king is again in a castling position, and we have this great bishop. Pay attention to that bishop, such a powerful bishop on the diagonal. So checkmate in one move. Of course, there's only one check, right? We play this move and it's checkmate. Now, this checkmate happened because the king is opened on the file. See, the rooks are excellent on the files and bishops are fantastic on the open diagonals. King cannot run away to f8. So let's see the next one, and you calculate now. Okay, of course there are more pieces. What can you do here? First, always ask yourself how many pieces are attacking the king. I see queen. Don't forget the bishop and the rook. Now those three pieces. Bishop on d3 is not opened. Maybe in some different kind of games this bishop would join the attack. Now I'm sure some kids would here just go very fast and trade the queens, but you know better, because we know that something is going on here with the king. So let's see if you can find checkmate in 5 moves. The best would be if you can write down those moves on the piece of paper. Don't ever move the pieces before you calculate. Try to think about this exercise like a real chess game. You are playing a game and you are not allowed to touch the pieces. You have to calculate before you move. Okay, let's calculate together. So I'm thinking about this queen g7 move, right? Check. Knight takes the queen. A rook takes the queen. King goes to h8. And now here you need to find an amazing move. Okay, I'm sure it's not easy to find this move, because if you played rook f7, that would not be correct in this case, because the knight is attacking the bishop. Knight is going to capture the bishop and there is no check anymore. So look at this one more time. Queen g7, knight takes g7, rook g7, king h8. Now we're going to play an amazing move. Rook to g8. Check. And it's a double check. Check with the rook and check with the bishop. Right? So the only move is king takes g8. And now this rook from a1 comes to g1, makes a check. The only move would be queen g5 to block, and rook takes g5, checkmate. Okay, let's see. This calculation is not easy, but that's how we get better. Let's see. We take. And then we take again. And here we can stop. Look, I cannot play rook f7 because knight on c4 takes that bishop and there is no check anymore. And you are going to lose the game. See, one wrong move and you are losing the game. And this happens so often in our chess games, right? We have a great chance to win and we just play a move like this and everything is gone. So look at this fantastic move. Hey, I love this move. Rook g8, double check. We know when there is a double check, the only way to escape the check is to move the king. So king takes, and now rook comes to g1. Check. Queen has to block. That's the only move, and we take checkmate. Beautiful calculation. Of course, you have to do this on your own. Go back to this practice and try to calculate on your own without moving the chess pieces and writing down the moves on the piece of paper, so you can write everything that you see. Let's go to the next one, Damian's mate. This one you have to remember, right? It happens it happens really in the chess games. You have this pawn. Now look, this can happen when the king castles to king side or a queen side. It can happen on both sides, but more often it happens on the king side. Now, when a pawn gets this close to the black king, right, it's dangerous and it creates this checkmate pattern, right? The queen goes to h7, pawn protects the queen, checkmate, right? So the pawn on 6th rank is very dangerous, right? We'll study many positions with a pawn on 6th rank. Let's see the next one. What do we have here? Again, we have to pay attention to all our pieces. Right away I see this bishop, right? The king cannot escape. Look, it's kind of blocked. Of course, there is a black knight protecting the king. The knights are excellent in defense. But we have also a queen and we have a rook, right? Try to find a checkmate in 2 moves here. Okay, I hope I gave you enough time. Let's calculate together. We're gonna play rook to h8 check. The only move is knight takes on h8 and then queen goes to g7 checkmate. Let's play that. Rook to h8 and queen goes to g7 checkmate. Okay, the next one. You calculate. This one, we have to make a checkmate in 5 moves. This is a really nice calculation and we're going to learn a lot from this. But first, whenever you attack, pay attention to all your chess pieces. Look, you would think that this queen on a8 is not important for the attack. But you will see on the end, this queen is going to checkmate the king. So let's first analyze all our pieces that are very important here. I see this pawn on g3. We talked about the pawns, right? When they get so close to the king, the checkmating pattern is happening around the king. King cannot escape. Then, of course, I see the rook on open line, right? Very dangerous for the white king. I have this rook that can join and the queen that will join the attack, right? Now, bishop on c5, of course, very important, right? Because it's pinning this bishop on e3. So, the only piece that cannot help us with attack is bishop on b7, right? But pay attention to the white pieces. White is a piece up. He has 3 pieces and black has 2 pieces. So if you don't find a checkmate, you are going to lose the game. And white is about to capture this pawn. So you have to react very quickly. Try to calculate. Try to write down the moves on the piece of paper. Okay, let's calculate it together. Rook goes to h1 check. King has to take on h1. Now rook from c8 comes here to h8 check again. King has to go to g1. Then rook h1 check again. So we are giving 2 rooks for free. King takes. Queen goes to h8 check. King has to go to g1 and then queen h2 checkmate. Right, excellent. So that's a calculation. Right now, of course, if bishop blocks to h6, right, after we play queen h8 and bishop blocks, we just take queen h6. Nothing happens, right? It's the same position. But it's important that you remember this 2 rooks sacrifice, because we figure out, we know the pattern. If the queen comes to h2, then we are winning the game. So let's play that on the chessboard so you can see. Rook goes. We first sacrifice one rook. Then we play with a second rook. We sacrifice this one too. Now we open the space for a queen. Queen goes to h8 and queen goes to h2. That's it. Checkmate. Look, mating pattern, right? Queen and a pawn together. Good calculation. Let's see Loli's mate. Loli's mate is also about the queen and the pawn, but the pawn is now not on g6, it's on f6, right? Could be a pawn or it could be a bishop here, right? So pawn is very dangerous for the king. Checkmate. Queen is supported by the pawn. Checkmate. Let's see if you can find it. Checkmate in 3 moves. Again, whenever you attack the king, pay attention to your pieces. We have a queen, we have a pawn. Can other pieces help us for the attack? Yeah, maybe in some other situations, this bishop on b3 and rook d1, but right now we don't need those 2 pieces. So what do you see here? Move the pieces in your mind without touching them on the chessboard. So look, let's calculate. First we play h6 check. King can go to h8 or g8, doesn't really matter. Queen, let's say king goes to g8, we play queen f6, and the next move is going to be queen g7, checkmate. And black cannot stop it. So let's see that. We play h6. The same happens when king goes to g8. We play check. And queen g7, checkmate. Pawn supports the queen. Try the next one. This one we have to do calculation in 6 moves. Let's analyze all the pieces that can help us for the attack. First, I see this pawn on f6. I know as soon as I see this pawn on f6, something can happen around the king. King is trapped in the corner, so the checkmate happens. Of course, then I see the rook. Right? Rook is here attacking on h7. I cannot take it right away, but I know that could be potentially an attack on the king. Now I also see this rook that can join. Perhaps I can double like this. Queen is here, and don't forget there is a bishop on c1. Now this bishop is far away from the black king, but you will see without this bishop we actually cannot checkmate. So try to calculate on your own, and then I'll help you. Write down every move that you see. Okay, you are smart kids, I know you figured this out. Okay, let's calculate together. A rook on e4 goes to h4. So now we have a rooks preparing to take the pawn on h7. This rook captures the pawn on e5. It is supported with the rook on e8 and attacks our queen. So we have to react very fast. Rook takes on h7 check. Queen takes on h7 check. Rook from h4 takes on h7 check. King can take, or it can move to g8. Let's try to figure out both of them. If king takes on h7, then we play queen h6 check. Bishop on c1 supports our queen on h6. King goes to g8, and then queen g7, checkmate. Now let's see one more time. Rook h4, rook e5, rook h7, queen h7, rook h7, king h7, queen h6, king g8, queen g7, checkmate. Let's play that. We take, and we take. Now, if the king goes to g8, if king decides not to capture on h7, then it's the same. You can just play rook h8 check, king has to take, and queen h6 and queen g7 checkmate. Like this. Alright? We play check, and then we play check again, and checkmate. Nice calculation. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the lesson and practicing with me. So I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye bye.